Good morning. Well, it's just about morning.
Morning,
I
everyone.
am Gra from I Am Healing, and you are
Antoinette from Antoinette McQueenie Homeopathy. It's lovely to be here again.
great to be here. We're a little bit later than we normally are, but that's our prerogative.
Yeah,
But the reason we're later is because our Celtic Goddess Triad or Goddess Celtic Triad, I haven't quite that straight, proving has been happening for the last week or so. And we've been really engrossed with 29 other women who are proving this unbelievable. I mean, it is unbelievable, this remedy, isn't it?
yeah. And it actually, the proving, it kind of started quicker. It started almost a week before we expected it to start. And you were right, you were spot on because I said, maybe we should finish it earlier. And you said, no, it's a triad. It's the three. We have to have the before, the during, and the after. So
Yeah.
technically it's finished on this Friday. But obviously there's going to be a few things unraveling for the next week, probably afterwards as well. So it's been huge. It's been huge.
Gosh.
Definitely the biggest proven we've been involved in, and
Yeah.
a lot of stuff coming to the fore
Yeah. I mean,
for
this
us
is
as well.
the most women we've ever had, first of
Yeah,
all, or the most
yeah.
people, but generally it's women. But yeah, so it's the biggest group we've ever had approving with. We have homeopaths, we have student homeopaths, we have lay people, we have people who have never even taken homeopathy before in the group. So the range of people is mind blowing, mainly Irish or from the island of Ireland, living on the island, but we also have some from the UK and some from America as well. So it's like there's a little smattering outside of the Irish contingent, which is also beautiful to see. Um,
And another thing that's different with this one is we even mentioned it before when we do a proving, Grania, we don't take the remedy because we've already done it ourselves.
yeah,
But with this one, we hadn't actually taken the remedy. I had really no, I had no desire to get involved in the proving. I thought it was really interesting and I loved it. But there was no choice with it, really. It was like we set up the group and we were about to turn and walk away and say, see you in a week. But it's like we got pulled back in, the two of us pulled back into that vortex as well. So we have been knee deep in this as well. It's been incredible. Everything that's been going on in the proving has been reflected in what's going on in the outside world and how we're all perceiving it. And not just events at the moment, but events going back 5 years and before that. And this is old stuff that's come back up again. Yeah, it's been surprising and not in some ways as well, but
yeah.
but big.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some interesting physicals come out that we can already to allude to now. And again, bearing in mind we haven't fully analyzed and collated our data. But there's definitely something with tinnitus in this proving
Yeah.
that is
Most of us
quite
had that.
strong. Ear buzzing, and it's actually both ears. It's not just, I think right side might be dominant more than left, but I think both ears. That was kind of blowing my mind. And it was only actually when somebody shared it, I realized I was experiencing the buzzing. And that happens quite a lot in the proving. It's only when you hear, oh, I didn't realize my ears were even buzzing. And I would hear the buzzing, and I don't have anything like that normally. So that was
Yeah,
fascinating for me with the
yeah.
ears.
There's been ovarian stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Both ovaries, people were feeling like twinges, pains, vicious stagnancy there. Also in the breast,
Yeah.
there has been issues, headaches. A lot of us got headaches, brief
Yeah.
headaches. Oh, I had the thing on my foot. Quite a few of us had
I had
foot
that as
issues.
well.
I forget
But
that. I felt I
yeah,
was walking on a broken foot for 2 days. Not
yeah,
really bad, but that was an old injury that had it was something that had happened twice actually to me where I possibly had a broken toe, but that came back.
yeah.
Whatever that's relating to, it's not just tied into those two times. But yeah, other people had that as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I had that where I had broken the foot, I think it's 5 years ago, and it just suddenly became, it was like I twisted on it, but I didn't. And I was like, oh,
yeah.
ow, why is that stingy? But hips, now I do have issues with hips, but that really came up for me in the last week. And other people were talking about hip issues as well. Um, the emotional stuff and the mental stuff has been also very interesting. You know, women raging against the system
Oh, there's a lot of anger in there, us
and like
included.
kind of enough, you know. Um, it was like women really stepping into the power of anger. It was
Yeah,
it never felt destructive. It was an
yeah,
empowering anger and kind of like
yeah.
um
It was putting boundaries back in place. It was
big time.
reclaiming their voice, standing up for themselves. Um, but yeah, but it started in rage, and
Yeah,
then that rage turned into something very, very productive.
yeah,
So, and it was funny. I'd said in the group, a random thing came up on my phone saying that just this woman talking about the goddess, the Irish goddess Eru was rising up, and she was angry, and she was saying enough is enough. And I've goosebumps now even saying that because that's what I was feeling. That's what was coming through a lot in the group as well.
yeah.
And what else? Lady Libido was making a comeback for sure. Whoop whoop.
Yes, we were embracing that sensuality and sexuality. It was quite delightful. um, yeah, no,
What else has there been?
there was something. Lots of I'm trying to think of the dreams. There was lots of dreams of exes seem to be kind of coming through
Yeah.
quite a bit and dreaming about exes. Um, but also kind of there was women noticing, you know, a bitchiness coming in at times, like that kind of divisiveness that women can do.
Oh yeah.
Even in women who wouldn't normally behave like that, they caught themselves kind of looking at them going, you know, so that
Yeah.
was that theme of again divided, division, split. But at the same time then a theme of women coming together and women in a circle, which the group was, and we had experiences of that as well, women supporting each other and buoying each other up. So there was, yeah, so there's kind of the divide but the joining as well at the same time, which was really
Yeah.
exciting to see.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a great remedy for helping to heal
I
communities because again
Amazing remedy.
there's a constant drive to split communities and groups of people, and this is just going to be another one of those remedies that's going to help hugely in that.
Yeah, so we will be publishing that in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
We're also brewing something else, but we'll talk about that another time. But I think leading on from that, it would be nice because this is an amazing remedy, but nice to share actually some stories on some of the more general remedies and amazing experiences we've personally had, not even with clients, but in our personal lives. So we're going to get a bit personal today. Um, and I said I would go first. One of the remedies, Anto, and I think you remember this because you knew me at this time. Many of you'll know I came from the corporate world, but when I was in the corporate world, I mean, I was having an awful time. There was a lot of not nice treatment going on, and things were. I can only say so much because obviously legally. But I remember my homeopath. Yeah, I know. It's like,
Sounds well dodgy.
will I go there? But they were being very bold. My old employers were. That's all I'll say. And my homeopath prescribed two, yeah. And it was really amazing. I was going along, thinking, oh well, it's not really helping with whatever. I can't even remember what I went to her physically with, probably periods. But next thing, I engaged a solicitor, I took on my employers, I drove it to redundancy, and I was like, I'm going to be a homeopath. And like this, like who I was inside, which if you know Tuya, like literally got birthed. She was like,
Wow.
time for me to come out. And, you know, the corporate Grania slowly died away, actually quite quickly in the scheme of things. So that all happened over a period of a few months while I was on the Tuya, and it was like, and I didn't even realize it while it was happening. It was afterwards I went, and I think it might have been you or a couple of, my homeopathic friends kind of went, "Oh, look what Tuya did for you," and it was literally I just realized that kind of holistic Grania that had been buried inside me and hadn't been the Grania that a lot of people in the world saw, she came out to play.
Wow. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. So that
What's
changed
yours?
everything.
That
Um,
changed everything.
yeah, I've got two little ones that are relating to pregnancies actually. So my first pregnancy, I was so sick. I really wanted to get pregnant, but the morning sickness, well, it was all day long sickness. It was horrendous. And I had never actually, I was in my second year of homeopathy and I'd never had a homeopathic remedy myself at that stage, even though I was in second year. And I thought,
We don't
no, it can't be
recommend
that
that, people. Oh, that's hilarious.
Um, so I went to my homeopath and even just driving there, I was so sick, and got in, sat down, she said, and what else is going on? And I just started crying and crying and crying and crying. And I told her my cat had died. My gorgeous baby had died about 2 months before maybe I got pregnant. And I hadn't been able to, because nobody wants to hear about your cat who's died, you know. I was absolutely devastated. And then I got pregnant and I'm really happy to be pregnant, but the morning sickness was just shocking. And I cried and cried and cried, and she gave me Ignatia, a remedy I had in my kit in the car. She gave it to me, and as soon as I took it, something changed. And I think that was on maybe a Thursday. And I had been telling my family I was so sick. I couldn't eat. I was really, really sick. I was home with my family on Friday. I was shoveling a dinner into me, going, "No, really, I've been really sick. I haven't been able to eat." And they're just like, okay. But in 24 hours, 48 max, all of the morning sickness was gone. Never came back, completely gone. And the other one was on my last pregnancy. It was a rough pregnancy, and I'd had a lot of remedies, but I never felt good during it. Again, very, very bad morning sickness. Never really got to find out what it was. I looked shocking. It was one of those pregnancies where I was coming out at night time when I was feeling slightly better and crying in the frozen food section of Tesco. If anybody asked me how it was that bad. I looked shocking. There was
Oh,
nothing glowy about me at all. And but at 20 weeks, I went into early labor and I was absolutely terrified. And I rang my homeopath, and no, I didn't go to hospital because I knew, it was 20 weeks. I just kind of felt if it happens, it happens. But um, I rang my homeopath and she told me to take umbilical cord, which is not going to stop every
oh yeah.
early delivery. Okay. But that's because I felt like there was something coming out through my belly button. I had a lot of issues around the belly button. She told me to take umbilical cord and aconite for shock. And I went to bed and I slept. And I woke up after half an hour and all the pains are gone. And for the next 20 weeks, I did start to actually glow and I felt amazing. I've got goosebumps again. I felt so good in my pregnancy and I looked really good. And even a day or two before I went into labor, I was crossing the road. I was waiting to cross the road. And this, I'm going to cry. This woman stopped the car and she goes, "Can I just tell you, you look absolutely gorgeous." And I said, "I know." And it was the loveliest. Oh my God, for the last 20 weeks, fabulous, fabulous. So they're my two really, really amazing, life-changing little stories
Oh,
with
they're big.
homeopathy.
It's going to make my next one, because I have my second one. It's going to make it sound a little bit, Grania, bless you. Okay. So, well done, you. My next one was, so this was one I took, a remedy I took myself. Because sometimes, and it was an acute situation, I got a splinter embedded under the nail of my finger. And it was like I tried it, and it was, yeah, it was painful and I couldn't get it out and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, well, feck this, we'll see if this homeopathy that I'm studying really works. So I got a silica 30C and I thought, I'm really going to test it. I put it in a glass of water and stuck my finger in the glass of water.
Ah,
And I sat watching the telly with the finger in the water. And it was almost like I forgot it. And no, I didn't need to wee. That is a myth as well. So anyway, I was sitting there, and next thing I looked and I started to pull the finger out of the water. And you know the meniscus layer that's on the top of the water? When the fingertip got to that point, the splinter almost just was stuck with and it just slid out. So as my finger withdrew from the water, the meniscus held the splinter, and I was watching it go. And it was one of
Oh,
those moments
wow.
where you think, "Oh, I wish I'd videoed that."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not quite glowy
Oh
pregnancy.
no, but no, I have seen silica do that. Like I've seen my husband sit there and 11 splinters, tiny splinters come out of his hand and him go, which? What have you done? Like, no, it's incredible when you get the right remedy, it's just
You get the right remedy.
but that's mad how like to put it in the water. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
So our caveat to all of this is this doesn't mean you need umbilica and aconite if you're threatening a miscarriage. It doesn't mean you need to if you need to leave your job. We shouldn't have to say this, but we do. Consult your homeopath if you are in any of these situations and you need support.
Brilliant. Oh, good stories.
Yay! And that is the weekly dose. Over and out.
Bye.
Bye.